Hello, my wonderful students. You are welcome to another class under set theory. Okay, the last time we discussed about set theory, we looked at um, question under two subsets, application of two subsets. We are going to continue from there. And don't forget our definition of set theory, which is very, very important. Anytime we have class on set theory, we always remind ourselves about the definition, right? So don't forget we said a set is the collection of well-defined items, or objects. Okay, now before we go into the class today, I want you to invite your friends. Um, let them know that the class is about starting. And of course, if you are here right now, get your writing materials and let us dive into today's class. All right, now today we are going to be looking at Venn diagram. So we are going to see how we are going to use Venn diagram to solve real life problems. Of course, we started that at the end part of the last class. So we are going to continue from where we stopped. Now, I want to show us the components of a Venn diagram with our two subsets. Now, let's look at what we have here. We have a rectangle, which is the universal set. I now have two subsets, two sets inside the universal set. Let's say set A and set B. Okay, set B. Now, these two sets are contained inside the universal set. Now, you have to know that this set I've written out now has four major parts. And I'm going to show you the components. Now, the first one is this. The second one is this. The third one is this. And the fourth one is the one we have outside here. Now, let us look at the first part. Now, when you look at this region, you can see this is just a region of A only. A only. And look at this region. Region 2 is region of A and B. You can see here now, we have this region here. We have the A circle and the B circle here. Okay. All right. Now, so now this third part is B only. B only. And look at this fourth part. Now it's neither B nor A, or neither A nor B. Okay, so now this part is called A only. A only. Now this part is A and B, or you write it as A intersection B. That is where we have A and B. This part is what we call only B. Okay, only B. So this is only B. So now this one, this part here, outside here, is what we call neither B nor A. Neither B nor A, or neither A nor B. So that's going to be A union B complement. All right. That is the complement of A union B. Right. Those elements that are not in A and B are the one outside. I want to believe you understand this. So now, from what I just explained to you, we are going to be applying that to solve this problem. All right. I want to believe you have all invited your friends. Let me check those people that are available. Okay. All right. I'm seeing Balogun, Nifemi, Oluwaseun, Uba, Oluwafẹ́rànmi. Okay. All right. So please ensure you share the video with your friends. Let them know the class has started. All right. Now let's look at this problem. Now, before we answer this problem, before we make use of the Venn diagram, now we must understand the concept of the question. Don't just read and start solving. So we are going to do first reading. The second reading, we are now going to be reading in between lines. All right, now let's look at the question. Now, in a class of 80 students, every student had to study economics or geography. If 65 study, or if 65 students studied economics and 50 studied geography, how many students studied both subjects? 2, only one subject. Okay, now let us now go through the question again. So we are reading in between lines now. Okay, let's go. In a class of 80 students, that means we have a particular class where we have 80 students. All right, please don't forget that we have 80 students. Every student had to study economics or geography. So that means there must not be a student in that class that will not study either economics or geography. But the question have not said that students cannot study the two subjects. But what the question is saying is that we must not have a student in that class, that is among these 80 students, that will not study either economics or geography. So in other words, any student in that class must study either this or this. Is that taken now? All right, now let's move to the next paragraph. We have, if 65 students study economics. Now, the number of students that study economics, they are what? 65. You see that statement, you have to be very careful so you don't miss everything whole. If 65 students study economics, now the question had not said that 65 students study only economics. Now, let's read the question again. If 65 students studied economics, now, that does not mean that out of these 65 students, we don't have some of them that we also study another subject. Okay? So, if 65 students studied economics, you get that? And 50 students study geography. 50 students study geography. That does not mean that we will not have some students among the 50 students that will also study what? Economics. Okay, the question did not say that. All right. So now, the question now says, how many students study both subjects? So you can see where I'm going now. That means we have some of the 65 students that studied economics also studied geography. Do you get that now? Okay. So now if you have that at the back of your mind, so we should be able to solve this problem. Now, how do we start? Now we start by representing each of the class by an alphabet. Now, let's start with the first one. We say, let's he be the set of all the students. All the students. Okay, and we have E to represent those that studied economics. Okay, now, and G to represent the set of those that studied geography. Okay, do we get that now? So this is the first thing we need to do so that by the time we see an alphabet, we know what it means. So it's a set of students. We have some set of students now that study economics in the question. Some set of students study geography in the question. And we have set of all the students. All right, now so we can now list now. Number of all the students, because calling you now is all the students. How many are they? How many from the question? So number of members of you. That will be what? 80. Good. So that's going to be 80 from the question. All right. Now let's look at this. Number of member of E. Number of member of E. That is number of those that studied economics. How many are they? From the question, we have 65 studied economics. So that's going to be 65. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. Number of those that studied geography. How many? 50 studied geography. So number of those that studied geography will be what? Will be 50. Okay. So we have all the information there. So now let's look at it. The question said, how many students studied both subjects? We don't know the number of those that study both subjects. Now, if I say both subjects, do you know the meaning of that? That is, those students that are in economics class and are also in what? In geography class. All right, so how are you going to write that mathematically? So that is going to be number of E intersection G. That is what we are looking for. Okay, so we can call that X because we don't know that. Those that studied economics and also study what? Geography. All right, so and don't forget intersection. You know, we have done that earlier. So intersection is the member of E and G. All right, okay. So now let us now represent this information on a Venn diagram. So now we start with this. So this is the universal sets. This is the universal set. How many? The whole 80. Okay, so we now have two sets. The set of students that studied economics, E. So that means this circle is for E. And how many are they? 65. Okay. Now, the next one is the set of students that study geography. Of course, now they have to overlap because we have some students that belongs to geography and economics. So, if you look like this, okay, this one now is going to be G. How many students? 50. Okay, hope you get that. All right. So now, the first thing I'm going to enter into this is those that studied both economics and geography, the middle one here. So, and we have represented with what? With X. Those that studied economics and geography. All right. So now let's look at what I want to do now. I need to get this. Now, the set of students that will be here will be the set of those that studied economics only. Economics only will be here. Geography only will be here. But this region is going to be economics and geography. All right. So how do we get the number of those that studied economics only? Now, since we know the total number of those that study economics, so we just remove those that study economics and geography from 65. So we are good to go. So that means this region now is going to be 65 minus X. Hope you get that. So we remove this set of students from 65. And the same thing also applies to this. Number of those that studied geography only, that's going to be what? 50 minus what? X. All right. Now, look at this outside here. Do we have any students here? Okay, what's going to be the number of students outside? Do we have any student outside? Okay, let me see. Maybe somebody is giving me the answer. Let me check. How many students will be outside? How many students will be outside the economics and geography? How many? Is anybody saying something? How many students will be outside the economics and geography? Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing any response. Okay, somebody said empty. Somebody said empty. Okay, I need more answer. Someone said none. None. Okay, let me see another person that will give me an answer. Okay. 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 Someone is saying it's not clear. Okay, that is Oluwatosin. All right. Okay. All right. MC. Good. Good. So it shows that some of us are in the class. Now, we will not have any student outside because when you look at the question, and that is the reason why I said you must understand the concept of the question before you start answering. It's very, very important. So the question said that in the class of 80 students, every student has to study. So every student must belong to economics or what? Geography. So we must not have any student that does not belong to either economics class or geography class. So that means nobody will be outside. Is that taken now? So nobody will be outside. So that class outside now is going to be empty, just like some of you said. So there will not be anything. So we are not writing anything now. Good. So now we are good to go now. So now let us now look at the parts that we have inside this set here. So we have the first part, the second part, the third part, and the fourth part. All right. Now, when you add part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 together, your result must give you the what? The universal set. That is the total number of students in the universal set. Okay. So when you add this and this and this and this together, it gives you the, because we have 4 parts that make up this rectangle. All right. So now let us add the 4 parts together and equate it to 80. Can we do that now? Okay, good. So we have 65 minus x plus 50 minus x. Now, since this one is empty, that is plus 0. So we don't need to write that, equals to 80. Hope you get that. So we just added these 3 parts together. There is no element outside. So now let's add this and this. Let's add the numbers together. So when you add this and this together, what do you have? You have 115, right? 115. 115. Now let's look at the alphabet. Now minus x plus x, that gives you 0. Okay, so we have minus x here. So we put your minus x equals to what? 80. All right. So the next thing now is to collect the like terms. All right. So you move 115 to this side. So you have minus x equals to 80 minus 115. Okay. So now the next thing now is to subtract. So when you subtract, what do you have? You have 35 minus 35. Okay, so now you can multiply both sides by minus, or you move this one here while this one comes here. So we have, therefore, x equals to 35 students. 35 students. So now, this is the number of those that studied both economics and geography. So 35 students study both economics and geography. Okay, hope you get that. Now, let's look at the second part of the question. Now, the question says, how many students studied only one subject? How many students study only one subject? So now, I'm going to give you a minute to attempt, and let me see. I want you to drop the answer in the comment section. All right, so make attempts. Let me see if you can get this. How many students studied only one subject? Now, from your Venn diagram, you should be able to do that. How many students studied only one subject? Okay, let's try that and drop our answer in the comment section. All right, so while we are doing that, if you observe that there's some of your friends that are not on the platform, you can share this video with them. And don't forget to always drop your thoughts in the comment section. And you should also remember to tap the like button. All right. Okay, so let's begin to see our answer rolling in. Okay, let us and do that. Let me see the first person that is going to provide the answer for us. Okay. All right. Number of students that studied only one subject. Okay. Okay. Balogun said E equals to 35. G is 15. Okay, let's watch and see. Let's watch and see. Let's wait for others. Okay. I can see progress here. So 30 for economics and 15 for geography. Okay. Nifemi said 45. 45. Okay. Now let's wait for others. Let's wait for others. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing another answer here. Okay. E is 30 and G is 15. Okay. All right, that is Balogun Tosin. Another one. Any 45 students studied only one subject. Okay. So Huber said G equals to 15. G is 15. Bamidele, E is 30. G is 15. Okay. Okay. Oluwaseun Huber. Okay. All right. So you completed that part. So E is 30. Okay, good. Now let us solve the problem together. Let's solve the problem together. Now the question is asking for the number of students that study only one subject. Only one subject. Only one subject. Okay, now let's look up. Now, when you look at the diagram, part 1 and part 3 are those that studied only one subject. Now, the part 1 is only economics. Part G, part 3, only what? Geography. So now, number of those that studied only one subject will be, now you write this, we have 65 minus x plus 50 minus x. Because only subject, we have two parts that have only one subject. So this and this, so you add the two together. So when you add together, when you add this and this together, you have what? 115, right? 115, and this is minus 2x. Okay? So, and that is 115 minus 2 times, what is our x? X is what? 35. Okay, so that's 115 minus 70. Hope you are getting that. Okay, so now when you subtract, you are going to have 45 students. 45 students studied only one subject. Okay, so you can see a lot of you got the answer. Once you go through the question and you understand the concept of the question, there's no big deal. All right. So, and don't forget, I used to tell you, your knowledge about mathematics is very, very important. The method of solving is also important. So when you are solving, the examiner expected a correct method of solving. So that is why I will not put all my attention to the answer, but the method. So that is, I asked you to write it down. So the method you use should follow this that I have on the board. Okay, so you must follow this method. Now let us now see, how do we award mark to this question? Now the first thing now is for entering all of these correctly here. So there is a block mark, that is 2 marks. So now half mark for each of these. For this half mark, half mark, half mark. For showing this one, half mark, making 2 marks altogether. Now for equating this to 80, so we have a method mark for that. For solving, a method mark. And for getting the answer, we have A1. Okay, here as well. Now for adding part 1 and part 3 together, there is a method mark, M1. And for getting your answer, we have E1. So how many marks altogether? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 marks altogether. All right, now you may get the answer and you may be marked down. So now I want to show you something. Now, if you write your answer out and you fail to put units, you are not going to get the answer. You must remember to write 35 students. Don't just write 35. You must put the unit. So unit is very, very important. So that is the reason why you see some people, they will write exam. Of course, now they are good, but they don't pay attention to details. So all of these are very, very important. So always remember to put unit. That shows that you understand what you are doing. So unit is very, very important. So if you don't put unit, you just write 35, that would not be correct. So you score, you are going to miss this, though all of these will be given to you, but the final answer and the same thing also applies to this. So you must always remember to put a unit. Another thing we need to take note of. Now, you know, the question asks for the number of those that study only one subject. Some people may just go ahead and just write all of this. Some people may just write one student equals to, or only one student. You must write number of those that. So that shows you understand what you're saying. You cannot just come here and just write one student equals to. Nobody has to look for one student or one subject. No, you have to write it out. Number of those that studied only one subject. Okay, so if what you are writing here does not make sense, so you are not going to get any of the marks. All right? So, and the last thing I want to say now is that for this diagram to be correct, you must be able to tell us what E is and what G is. So don't be in a hurry. You must represent it. You can see when we started, we said, let E be the set of those that study economics. G to be the set of those that study geography. If you had not written all this, that means you did not declare, we don't know what E is, we don't know what G is. You just come here, you start using E and G. I'm an examiner. I can just assume that maybe this E is the set of those that study geography. I will assume wrongly for you. Okay? So, or you just come here and just say A and B. How will I know the one that is for economics and the one that is for geography? So it's very, very important for you to always write this. Because if you don't write this, if I'm marking you, I will assume wrongly for you. And once you score 0 here, I don't have any business here. So all of this now is going to be 0. Because you need to make use of your diagram. And once your diagram is 0, your solution will be 0. Hope you have gotten that. Okay, good. So now I have another question here. So now let us move very, very fast. So we'll be able to cover a lot. Our time is seriously running. Okay, let's look at this. In an exam, 31 students passed 31 students passed chemistry, '29 passed physics, and 3 failed. And 3 failed both subjects. If 50 students, sat for the exam, okay, how many of them passed number 1 both subjects, number 2 only chemistry. Okay, so that is the question. All right, now let's look at the question together. Now, in an exam, 31 students passed chemistry, 29 passed physics, and 3 failed both subjects. Now, if 50 students sat for the exam, how many of them passed both subjects? 2, only chemistry. Now, we are reading again with understanding. I told you before you answer questions like this, you make sure you read 2 times so you get the concept of the question. Now, in an exam, 31 students passed chemistry. So, in the total number of students of 50, okay, 31 of them passed what? Chemistry. And also, let's look at it. 29 passed physics. So, the number of those that passed physics, they are 29. And 3 failed both subjects. 3 failed both subjects. So, if 50 students start for the exam, how many of them passed both subjects and only chemistry? All right, it's just a replica of what we just did earlier. So now let us start with the solution. Now the first thing is to say, let calling U represent the set of all the students. The set of all the students. Okay, set of all the students. That is the set of those that sat for the exam. Now, and C to represent the set of those that passed chemistry. Okay, and P to represent the set of those that passed physics. Okay, you get that? Okay, so now let us see number of those that sat for the exam. That is N of U. All right, what's it going to be? Because that's the first thing we need to do. Now, is anybody telling us? Now, U is the set of all the students. So what's going to be the number of U? Yes? Okay, if you say 50, that means you are correct. So that is 50. 50 is correct. Okay? Now, number of those that studied chemistry, that is N of C. N of C. So what will that one be? Is anybody telling us? Okay, drop your answer. C. Now look at it. 31 students passed chemistry. So 31 is the number of those that passed chemistry. Okay? So number of those that passed physics. So from the question, how many are there? We have what? 29. 29 passed physics. Okay, so we have 29. Now look at the information given here. And 3 failed both subjects. 3 failed both subjects. So how do we write that in our set notation? How do we write that in set notation? I want to see, is there anybody that can give us the answer? Number of those that failed both subjects. How do we write that? Is there anybody that want to help us? Number of those that failed 2 subjects. Anyone? Let me see. Okay, number of those that failed 2 subjects. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody dropping. Number of those that failed both subjects. How do we write that? Okay, I'm asking for the set notation. The set notation is going to be number of P union C complements. Okay, this is the set notation. P union C complement. And that is going to be what? 3. Okay. All right. From the question, we have 3 of them. Okay. So now, after this, now we now represent the information on our Venn diagram. So now, this is the universal set. This is the universal set. 50. This is the universal set. So in the universal set, we have 2 sets. The set of those that pass chemistry, set of those that pass physics. So this is chemistry is what? 31. Physics is what? 29. Okay? All right. Now I told you the last time that you will enter the one here first at the middle. All right? But it's unfortunate we are not giving. We have to find the number of those that pass both subjects. So that means we can represent that with X. So, but we have to write it out by saying, let's number of P intersection G to be equals to X. You must write it out so that we will not begin to ask questions. What is X? X is the number of those that pass physics and geography. Okay, good. So now, the next thing is to get these first parts. Those that pass only chemistry. So you write that one out. So you have 31 minus X. Now, let's move to these parts. Those that passed only physics. So that's going to be 29 minus X. You get that? Okay, good. Now the next one is those that failed. That is those that are not in chemistry and physics. Okay? That is those that failed chemistry and physics. They will be outside. Because this set is for the set of those that pass chemistry. You get that? Physics is here. So those that fail will be outside. So we have 3 here. Okay? Hope you get that. So now, The next thing now is to locate the parts. So we have the first part. This is the first part, the second part, the third part, and the what? The fourth part. So now what we have to do now is you add the 4 parts and equate it to the universal set. It's as simple as that. That's what we just did the other time. Okay. So now let us add the 4 parts. So we have 31 minus x plus x plus 29 minus x plus 3 equals to 50. Hope you get that. So we are adding the 4 parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. So part 1 is 30 minus x, part 2 is x, part 3 is 29 minus x, and part 4 is 3 equal to 50. So now let us add the numbers together. Now when you add this and this together, what do you have? You have 60, right? Okay, good. So now 60 plus 3, that is 63. You have 63. Now let's add this. Now minus x plus x, that is 0. And we have minus x here. So you have minus x equals to 50. Okay, so we can collect the like terms. So now let's move this one to this side. We have minus x equals to 50 minus 63. All right, so we have minus x equals to minus 13. So here you can multiply both sides by minus. So we have x equals to 13 students. 13 students. Okay, now this is the number of those that pass the 2 subjects, x, the number of those that pass the 2 subjects. Now, the question now asks, how many students passed only chemistry? How many students passed only chemistry? So you are going to do that for me, all right? So I know that's very simple. So do that and let me have your answer in the comment section. Do the second part. How many students passed only chemistry? How many students passed only chemistry? Okay. So I'm waiting for your answer. How many students passed only chemistry? All right. Uba, are you saying 13? Okay. You are referring to both subjects. Okay, how many students passed? Okay, I can see Balogun's answer. All right, that is you have 18. Okay, let's wait for others. Let's wait for others. All right, how many students passed only chemistry? Yes, I'm waiting for others. Please drop your answer. Okay, progress. Okay, you have 18 students. You have 18 students. Feromi, we have 18. Balogun, 18. Alabede, 18. Yes. Okay. Abosede, okay, you are not giving any answer. You are just greeting us. Yes. Okay. Yes. Oluwatosin, 18. Oluwatosin, 18. All right. Bamidele, 18. Okay, it seems everybody now understand this. Okay, so now let's do it together. And don't forget, presentation of your answer is very, very important to me. Okay, so it's not just about getting your answer. So that is the more reason why I have to do it on the board. So you just oppose it with what you have in your note and You have to be sure that you follow the right method. Okay, so now, how many students passed only chemistry? So I'm writing number of those that passed only chemistry will be, now this is the number of those that pass only chemistry. So that is going to be 31 minus x. All right, so that is 31 minus x is 13. So and when you subtract, you have 18 students. You have 18 students. So if you said 18, so you can see you are not completely right. So you didn't put unit. So I saw somebody that put unit there, 18 students. So you have to put the unit. I said it, I emphasize on the unit. Unit is very, very important. Always pay attention to details. So if you want an excellent mark in mathematics, you have to put attention to details. Always remember to put the unit. 18 students. All right. So now let us see. Okay, let me ask you this. It's not part of the question. How many students passed only one subject? How many students passed only one subject? So let me write that on the board. How many students passed only one subject? Only one subject. From what we have here, only one subject. How many students passed only one subject? Okay. Yes, drop your answer. I'm waiting for Uba Bamidele to give their answer now. Okay. Okay, Alabede. Yes, I'm waiting for your answer. How many students passed only one subject? How many students passed only one subject? Okay, is anybody dropping an answer? How many students passed only one subject? Okay, Uba said 34 students. 34 students, okay. Appreciate that. You are now putting unit. Okay, Alabede, 34 students. Okay, 34 students. Okay, Balogun, 34 students. Okay, okay. Somebody dropped 34 without units. Always remember to put units. Who is that? Omolola. Always remember to put units. Right? So we have Oluwaferonmi, 34 students. Okay. Yes, let's wait for others. Okay, 34 students, 34 students. Yes. Okay. Any other person? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. You are doing well. You are all doing well. Now let us look at it. Number of those that pass only one subject. That is what the question is asking for. Number of those that pass only chemistry and only physics. That's all. Number of those that pass only chemistry and only physics. So we just write number of those that passed only one subject will be equals to 31 minus x plus 29 minus x. You get that? So you add the numbers together. When you add this and this together, you have 60. So 60 minus 2x. So that would be what? 60 minus 2 times x. X is 13. So that's the same thing as 60 minus 26. So that is what? 34 students. 34 students. Good. So that means we are doing well. You see, it's as simple as what we have here. And you know, I used to tell you, there's nothing special about WAEC. All of these are questions that WAEC will always give you when you get to the terminal class. So these are the things you're going to be doing. So once you understand all these concepts, nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so now let us now see, how do we award mark to this question? Now the first thing is a Venn diagram. So a Venn diagram, that's going to be block mark B2. So half mark for this region, half here, half here, half for this. Okay, so that is 2 marks altogether. Now for writing this equation, there will be a method mark 1 for that. For solving, method mark, and for getting your answer, A1. All right, so here now, those number of those that passed only chemistry, M1 for writing this from the diagram, and for getting the answer, we have A1. All right, so now this that we are adding, so for writing this, we have M1, and for getting your answer, we have A1. Don't forget, for you to get all of these A1s, you must always remember to put the unit. Very, very important. And 2, for your diagram to be correct, you must have stated that C is set of those that passed chemistry. P is the set of those that pass physics. And there's one important thing I want to say. I've already said that earlier. You don't represent set with small letter. You cannot say, okay, let E be the set of those that passed chemistry or something. So don't use small letter to represent your set. If you do that, you are going to be marked down. You'll be flagged. So don't use small letter to represent your sets. You use capital letter. Hope you are getting me. All right, good. So that is it. So now, how many marks altogether? Let's count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 marks all together. All right. So we are going to be stopping here for today. So we have like 2 more sessions to hang everything on the set theory. All right, so we are going to be moving down to 3 subsets. That is going to be interesting. I bet you are going to enjoy the class by the time we start doing the 3 subsets. So I want you to get yourself ready against the next class, so you'll be updated. Now, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do that right away. Subscribe so that whenever we're online, we are going to have the notification that the class has started. I don't want any of you to miss the class that we're going to be having. We must complete the set theory, and always remember to drop your thoughts on the comment section. Drop your thought and your impression about the class. Right? I want you to drop your impression about the class on the comment section. So I want to believe you had a wonderful time today. So we are going to meet in the next class. So once you have your notification on, so once I'm online, you'll be notified about the class. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.